Okay, it is Tuesday, August the 12th maybe, something like that, out in the garden. And everybody's been saying I haven't been showing my cats too much out in the garden. They're not exactly in the garden, but they're pretty close here. So, okay, let's take a look at our garden. 6 rows of corn. I've already pretty much processed 4 rows of corn. Got all kind of corn in the freezer. And actually, I've been through here. I know the beans look a little yellow, but they've been eaten on and droughted upon. So they're lucky to look as good as they do. And I've already did a cannon of beans, which I need to do a bean cannon video. I don't know if I'll get around to doing one or not, but maybe. Got a cannon and a pressure cooker full of beans off of these beans here so far. Alrighty, moving on up. I have ripped out my cucumbers. There's a big bare patch. I should have showed myself doing that, but I didn't. Here's my melons. They have a just exceedingly poor taste. I might try one more. I've tried 2. They've been just utter crap. I tried one of my large watermelon. Okay, let's see what we got with the watermelon. I have a little more confidence with this than I did the cantaloupe. This will be the first watermelon I've cut into this year. Alright, as you can see, this one obviously is not ripe. The vine had already quit and it had already fell off the vine, so it wasn't going to get any more ripe. Just for the heck of it, I'll taste this, but yeah, it's not ripe. Tastes like it would have had potential. If it had ripened, it would have had potential, but as it is, nope. I could tell the taste was going to be good if it had been ripe. Whereas these, even if they had been big and ripe, I just don't know about them. But the watermelon, most of them are just a little small, like this size, and yeah, that vine's just about shot right there, so that probably really won't get much more ripe. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that. This is the only one, the only one right here that I have confidence in is this one right here, and the vine is still attached really good, and I do have a semblance of vines here feeding it still. So yeah, and this is a dwarf one, so it's not supposed to get huge, so it has a chance. I really came out here specifically today to show my tomatoes because I know the vines don't look like much, but this is the time of year when you can actually see just how many tomatoes is on them, because the vines are really dying back. And I'm not going to really put forth a lot of commentary here. I'll just sort of do a scan of my tomatoes. Now the early girls, that's an early girl there. It's in reasonably good shape. And as far as healthy vine-wise, this is another early girl right there. This will probably hang in there longer than any of my other tomatoes. These are 4 squash plants right here that I planted, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago, whatever. Anyway, it's a secondary squash planting, so those 4 look good. And these are my original squash. This is like 10 plants, yeah, 10 plants, maybe less. Anyway, I'll be ripping them out before long. They're still producing a squash or 2, but there's very few blooms on them. I know that looks like a lot of blooms right there, but that's an anomaly. So, what did I say I was going to do a minute ago? I said I was going to not run my mouth and show my tomatoes, so let's do that. And I only pulled the ripest tomatoes. You maybe can't see them, it's getting dark and they're in plastic bags, but that's just either the ripest ones or some that had a flaw that needed to be pulled. Probably about 15 pounds worth of them. And they're sort of an odd looking tomato. It's not unusual to get one that's got a little bit of a nose like that, but that's about the longest the longest tomato nose I've seen. So that's a big one. It looks like the head of a bird of some kind, maybe. Or maybe it's the head of a porpoise. More like a bird. It's kind of got a beak. Hey Carly, what's going on? Gratuitous shot for Carly. Peppers, yeah, y'all guys. You guys have seen my peppers. There's just a whole bunch of these. I'll probably put a few of them in my tomato soup when I make it. And I'm not going to take any great pains, just tomatoes and whatever happens to be in the garden that's ripe that you'd think would go in soup. Tomatoes, throw a few peppers in there, various kinds. Okra if I got it, which I don't have it yet. And what else? Beans if I've got it, which I'm going to have some, and corn. But yeah, here's something y'all haven't really seen. Here's one of these bell peppers right there that is turning orange. So yeah, that's cool. And there's just a multitude of, you've all seen this before. And you know, even up toward the top, there's little bells starting up here at the top. Little bell, you know, big bell. So yeah, you can just get a better view. I just can't get over how good these orange bells are looking here. But yeah, and you can't really even see how many's in there because there's a bunch of bells in there. We've already covered this before. Trying to cover new things here. All right, let's go down and take a look at these other beans and the okra down here at the lower garden. And here are the beans that I replanted because they was underwater, and Miracle-Gro because they was a little yellow looking, and they're just absolutely beautiful now. Still a tinge of yellow on them, but that doesn't matter too much. Just a little tinge. The farther out you go here, the greener looking they are. But yeah, you can see they've grown all the way to the top of this support here and well over it. Here's one. Well, I don't know. That's probably a good 3 foot, 3 foot over the top of it. I never have understood why when you go and buy white half-runner beans on the pack it says that they're a bush bean, but I don't think they're a bush bean. I have planted them without any support before and they just sprawl all over and make the hugest mess you've ever seen. They're not a bush bean, not as far as I'm concerned anyway. And it's getting a little dark, but yeah, there are just lots of beans in here. But it'll probably be another week or so before I really pick them. And yeah, I've been really keeping the bugs out of these things, and believe you me, there's been a lot of bugs. There's been days I've come down here and picked 100 Mexican bean beetles off of them, having just an occasional Japanese beetles, but they're really easy to deal with. There's just not that many of them. Okay, moving on, there's these two nondescript looking tomato plants, celebrity tomatoes, which usually would be just overflowing these cages, but they got their feet wet down here too in this ground. Here's my okra, not nearly as tall as last year right now. It's probably pushing 3 foot, and I haven't had any blooms on it yet. I mean, it's sort of like got just some buds down in there, but no actual blooms yet. And even though I haven't top watered this second batch of cucumbers I've got here, yeah, it's looking dried up and all on top too. So I don't know if that's just something to do with planting that late or the drought or whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure how many cucumbers will come off of that. And there's my compost pile. And you know, it looks kind of short right now, but I mean, oh my God, I have put stuff in there. Okay, that's it for the garden today. Bye, everybody. I'm not going to show myself. I look horrible. I haven't washed my hair today. All right, here it goes. Let's see what it'll look like. Oh my freaking God. For all those people who give me compliments on my hair, yikes. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Yikes. Now, wait a minute. Huh. Well, that's not so bad after all. Bye, everybody.